Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Um, Court should be back in session any minute. So I'm just catching up here. What did everybody think about the second police officer that was just questioned by some people online are calling that lawyer Umbridge. I don't know what her actual name is, but there wasn't any real new information that was discovered through that cross. Pretty redundant, in my opinion, and very accusatory of negligence, that somehow the police officers were negligent in some way. I didn't hear any sort of evidence at all of negligence in any way. I think that, she's trying to do her job to the best of her ability, that lawyer, to try and create some sort of doubt that they missed something. But that's objectively, I'm not hearing that they missed anything. It sounds like they took their time. It sounds like they um, they separated and spoke with people separately, which is what the protocol was for them to do in order to find an objective opinion about a report about what's actually happening on the scene. They didn't get any sufficient evidence or feedback that led them to believe that there was an active domestic reportable event happening. The other police officer yesterday testified that Ms. Heard was uncooperative and wouldn't tell them anything. So I'm not really sure what else they were supposed to do. They even did the, protective sweep of the place, and they left. So it sounds like this lawyer is alleging that somehow they missed something. Somehow they didn't talk to someone that was hugging her. I'm not really sure, but it's vague and reaching. So, in my opinion, I don't think that it's anything really to worry about. I don't totally understand how that. It took a very long time too for her to do that. It was painful to watch and listen to, and you could tell the police officer was getting um, frustrated and annoyed. He handled it well, though. So yeah, now I'm just wondering what's coming up next, because there was quite a long testimony yesterday of the other police officer, and it sounded like she was really trying to blame the senior police officer, that somehow she missed something or somehow she discredited what was going on, or wasn't doing a thorough enough job, or even not alluding, but outright saying that, isn't it true that you guys basically wanted to get off your shift and leave? That you were rushing to leave. Yeah, if she was trying to be very accusatory, I think she did a very good job at that. I'll give her that. Again, which, it doesn't do well for your client. If you're continually making the witnesses, automatically defensive, the jury's not going to like that either. I'm sorry, but it's very consistent to what she's doing there. And again, with the other lawyer, Rottenborn or whatever his name is, it's a similar feeling that you get. So not too good in their client's favor. It's really damaging. So I'm just going to check here on the live chat and see what people are saying. Johnny is a good man. A mega pint. People are still talking about the mega pint. Somebody, oh, in the illegal video that Amber took of Johnny being upset and then him being upset and just kind of taking the bottle of wine and filling it up in this big cup, not drinking it. But anyways, just somebody, one of the lawyers was like, you poured yourself a mega pint. Anyways. Yeah, I agree. These questions are a waste of time. I feel like it's just wasting time, quite honestly. I mean, which is good though, if, if we're wanting Depp's team to win, it's good in his favor. Just because someone calls doesn't mean that anything happened either way. I mean, it doesn't mean that something did or didn't happen, but it is definitely something to consider, considering the psychological evidence that was given yesterday from Miss Heard. A victim stance is very prevalent in these types of personality disorders, that they are the victim. And that can be played into, especially when there's a heated argument or some sort of trigger that creates these extreme feelings that the psychologist was describing yesterday of 1 minute you're idealizing your partner on a pedestal, and the next minute they have somehow triggered off your histrionic being, not being the center of attention. And then she mentioned one of the triggers for borderline would be feeling the sense of potentially being abandoned. So if either one of those was triggered off, and she did mention, the psychologist yesterday too, the anger, the explosive anger was something that was high on the scales when she was interpreting it for Miss Heard. So, and she also mentioned the commonality of women threatening to get legal services involved. So those are a lot of a lot of red flags that don't work well towards Amber's case, that this could potentially be a very practical example of what she was saying. Is very likely for people that struggle with this type of personality disorder. Oh, and another thing while we're waiting, again, just the ignorance on behalf of this lawyer, thinking that the wording on the psychological report, the 25-page psychological report that the psychologist said that she submitted in explaining all of the different details of this diagnostic result. The audacity, for lack of a better word, or the ignorance of this lawyer to think that she knows how a diagnosing psychologist should write that they've diagnosed someone with a personality disorder in a report is laughable. I'm sorry. This is not your corner of the world. It's not your expertise. You are not a psychologist. And there's no grounds to be able to, again, in a very accusatory tone and stance, to say that somehow this psychologist didn't officially diagnose because you don't think the wording's right. Sorry, honey, that doesn't float. There's no weight to that. Again, the psychologist was very professional and composed in dealing with such ignorant statements. That there's no other way to describe it. It's just complete lack of knowledge and embarrassing for that side, I would say. Quite embarrassing. So yeah, I guess she thinks she knows how to officially document diagnoses of psychological personality disorders. Who knew? Lawyer and a psychologist without a degree. Oh, Oh, you have to laugh. Anyways, I'm wishing everybody well in this trial today. I can't even imagine the tiredness. Someone wrote muffins are illegal. Yeah, that was quite the yeah, again, misheard if that was, what happened regarding the muffins and how she tried to even throw the psychologist under the bus, didn't she? To say that she had, broken confidentiality and told her husband about the case or about who she was coming to see, where, the psychologist handled that really well too. But, it's the nature of the beast. If that is what happened with Miss Heard, if it's very, very possible that she stretched the truth and tried to discredit or get the psychologist in trouble because, of course, she's not going to want to accept these diagnoses that the psychologist is taken lots of time and energy and quite frankly explained in very great detail. You could tell she'd been on the stand many times in these types of forensic cases and PTSD and all sorts of things. She explained very well how hard and difficult it would be to fail to improperly diagnose these disorders, and how many studies there are, and how many scales within scales within scales are in this diagnostic. In the it, it's yeah, it just shows the lack of knowledge in some of these people, these lawyers. They literally have no idea. And I think too, just even the way that she condescended to the psychologist, at one point, the psychologist was like, just asking for clarification in a very respectful way about something that the lawyer said in legal terms. And I don't know. She's like, "You don't know what that means," or something like that, as though she should know lawyer terms, and I just found that really, really comical too. So she should know lawyer terms, and you somehow have a psychology degree, um, because you think that, just simply by viewing the report and having no basis to stand on or educational background to stand on how to read a psychometric diagnostic tool. I, honey, I'm sorry, but if you had some sort of a background in that, then maybe you would have a bit more weight. But there's nothing. So yeah, I just can't. I can't get over that. I just can't believe that she tried that angle. But yeah. Now, what time is it getting to be? I'm just seeing here. I think the break should be over soon. And I'm going to take a quick coffee break here.